Hey folks, before we start this episode, we talk about Radwood being in Austin on the weekend of the 26th of February. It actually ended up being postponed for weather. It is going to be April 23rd now. So when you hear us talking about it, it is actually April 23rd. All right, thanks, and on to the episode. Welcome to Auto Off Topic. Hey, I've got multiple Brads tonight, actually.
Not sure if that's good or bad.
Sometimes it can be good.
I did notice, Brad, that we were at a parts store today, and the guy who was checking out next to us was also named Brad. Did you notice that?
I did not notice that.
It was a little confusing for a while. There were 3 Brads at the parts counter.
I think Brad's been on the most.
2 Brads don't make it right.
He's number one guest now.
Brad is probably our number one guest, yeah. I think he was last time he was on, and now he's just adding to his score.
Yeah, just running the numbers up.
Yeah. Well, as we all know, Brad is a big name in the world of podcasting, so not each of us as Brad, but Brads in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had the discussion on the friend of ours show, which they haven't recorded in a while, I don't think. Hello Road.
I think they just put up an episode a couple of weeks ago.
Okay,
but yeah, they're very intermittent.
But they're also very Brad positive because there are 4 Brads that have been on that show.
Yes.
Because we've been on that show, and Brad Hansen's been on that show, and Brad... There's a 4th Brad. There's been a lot of Brads in that show, so yes. Brad's a big name in podcasting. Mm-hmm. Not, again, patting myself in the back, just saying the name Brad is a big name in podcasting. Anyway, so yes, we have Bradley Brownell sitting next to me here in my air quotes studio, which is actually the desk that Naomi and I have shared during our various work from home stints. So Bradley's here for a couple of reasons. 1, just to visit. Yep. 2, just to visit. 3, because he was passing through, and it's cheaper to stay in our guest room than a hotel, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's not the only reason. I do enjoy your company.
All right, good.
Yeah, on my way to Radwood, Austin, I had to... this is a long, convoluted thing, but we recently moved back to the Midwest, my wife and I, and so we had to take the van from Michigan, where we were, back to Reno, where we have been for the last 8 years, and all of the Radwood stuff was stored there, so we had to close out the office, get everything packed up for the show, get everything ready to transport to Austin, because it's no longer going to be in Austin. We're going to take the stuff with us when we go back to the Midwest. So anyway, yeah, so I have an entire van full of everything that belongs to Radwood at the moment, and we're heading to Austin. And then we'll send some stuff on its way to the Amelia Island show, and then heading back north to Michigan.
So I guess that's as good as time as any to say that Austin Radwood is this coming weekend.
Coming weekend.
I assume this episode's going to come out the end of this week, Andrew?
Yeah, they go up on Friday.
So it'll be the day after. It'll be the day after the episode comes out will be Austin Radwood. So
yeah,
not enough time to actually promote it, but that's okay because I think it's sold out.
Cars are sold out. Obviously, we will take as many spectators as we can get, so please come on down. It's at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. We are in the infield. So there's like the area where the concerts are, and there's the big tower that overlooks the... so we'll be in that area, and there will be like barbecue and stuff set up, a Mexican booth, and they'll have all of their midway rides open. So if you want to be on the Ferris wheel, or you want to take the zip line or whatever, that's all going to be open. Should be fun.
Is this in conjunction with any other events there this weekend? Is there anything going on track?
There is, I think, a PCA track day.
Oh, that's cool.
On, so it'll be pretty cool. You can hang out and watch some cars go around.
That's cool. That'll be a first, I think, for me anyway. I know Radwood did a thing with HooptyCon that probably had a similar vibe.
Yes, yeah, we had Lemons at what was that?
Sonoma, right?
Sonoma.
Well, we did 2 at Sonoma, and we did 1 in Jersey. New Jersey Motorsports. Yeah. And yeah, they were pretty fun. So having that on-track vibe is pretty nice. I hope the Porsche Club of America cars will be a little bit quieter than the ones that were at Lemons, because Lemons gets real loud. race car spec. So,
well, I think that this is a Porsche Club track day. It's going to be mostly street cars, right?
mostly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it shouldn't be as ridiculous. So
I hope not.
So that's exciting. So that's this coming weekend. I know Naomi and I are heading out there as well after you guys leave.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to kind of bonsai run as we always seem to do.
Mm-hmm.
Head out Friday. We're taking, fortunately, we're taking the Eclipse. We'll have the.
I thought you were going to take
Eclipse.
the blue car.
Which blue car? Toyota?
Yeah.
No, taking the Eclipse.
I thought you were taking the Cressida. Oh, nope. Right, because you wanted air conditioning.
Correct.
Right.
Unfortunately, I'm also working from the road on Friday, so
yes.
I will need windows up, air conditioning on.
Yes.
So that's going to be an interesting drive. But we were planning on taking the Saab. That was going to be, the ultimate
public
end
unveiling
of the Saab story. But the Saab story became, as Andrew quoted before, a Saab story. So that will not be there. It will be there in the Eclipse instead. So
okay.
And then I think the next event for Radwood after that, which we are in time to promote, even though it's also sold out car-wise, but you can still spectate, is at Amelia Island, correct?
Yes.
That's the following weekend?
The following weekend, that is the first weekend of March? Yeah. The 5th, I think, or 6th, maybe?
Well, we do have this handy-dandy device in front of us that should tell us.
I
should make an effort to get to Amelia because it is on this coast, so it's really not that hard to get to Florida. Sure. I think it's actually closer to Georgia.
Yes, it is literally right across the border into Florida from Georgia.
I'm glad that Bradley knew what you meant because I thought you meant that it's closer to Georgia than it is to Massachusetts, and I was going to seriously question what that even meant.
Obviously.
Yeah, it definitely is, but...
Yes. So maybe we should plan that next year, Andrew. We'll head down to Florida for that or something. Although next year I'd like to plan to go to Florida for the 24, so...
Yeah, I'll definitely be there for the 24. This year's 24 was awesome. Yeah. That was something we could talk about. I got to drive the NSX Type S on track. That was fun.
I didn't even know you did that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was cool.
That's pretty amazing. We'll definitely get to that. So before it leaves our brain, I think we should chat about NASCAR again. I know I can hear a couple of collective groans from the audience, but
it is what it segue into Daytona, so you might as well start with this speed week.
Yeah, we'll work backwards because this is for sure in our brains.
Am I imagining it, or was it? Didn't it used to be the 24, and then Daytona was the following weekend?
Yeah, yes. We were just discussing that yesterday when we were watching the race.
That was Speed Week.
Speed Week started with the 24-hour. Yep. Then there was a bunch of motorcycle races, and then it culminated with the Daytona 500.
Okay.
I think sometimes the motorcycles split off and did their own thing, but I definitely remember going when the 24 was the weekend before the 500, or at the very least before the weekend before the Clash.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it's all unrelated now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has something to do with selling tickets and
who knows
and money.
Who knows?
I'm sure there's some deep NASCAR pocket story there somewhere, but. So we are a day after the Daytona 500. Do we know who won? Yeah, we do. His name was Austin, not Dylan.
No.
The other one.
Cindric.
Austin Cindric, yes. That's the problem with NASCAR, man. There's 43 drivers in every race, and it seems like the guy who won isn't leading until the last 2 laps. You don't remember his name after the race is over.
I knew him beforehand because he used to race in sports cars. He was a Pirelli World Challenge runner long time ago.
Okay.
And then he was really good in Xfinity last year. And he was a contender at the road courses for sure.
So this is his first year as a full circuit NASCAR driver. So
yes,
that technically makes him a rookie.
Yes.
This is his first Daytona 500, and he won his first Daytona 500.
Correct.
So
by 0.036 seconds.
Yeah, 36 thousandths of a second.
Yeah,
that was
Bubba
nuts.
Wallace in second.
That was nuts. Did you see Bubba's tweets? I'm sure you didn't. But
I did not. No, I don't have Twitter, unfortunately.
He got a little boozed up last night, and he was talking some mad trash about how it sucks to lose by that little of amount, and there were rumors that his wheels were illegal, or there was an infraction with the wheels for
Austin's
the winner.
or Bubba's?
Austin's.
Okay.
And so he was like, "How about them wheels, huh?"
Did those rumors turn out to be true, or is it still being investigated?
I know that they were confiscated. I don't think there was anything that came from it. Okay. And it's been 24 hours, so they're not going to do anything about it now.
Speaking of those wheels, a couple flew off.
Yeah. One came off because I think it was just a loose lug, single lug. And then one of them sheared in half.
So it sheared in half, and they were talking about something with the pin on the center drive. So there's two sets of pins that it has to lock onto, and if you don't lock it onto the pin, the vibration is wild, and that's probably why it sheared in half.
Could be.
So I think that's both of them might have been user error. But did you hear the punishment for that?
For the one not being on correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 4-race suspension for the crew chief.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems kind of harsh.
Yeah.
I think the crew member, too.
Yeah, that seems kind of harsh, given as this is the first real event with those wheels on it. Let's give us a little bit of
learning
margin for error and learning time here. It's not I guess it shouldn't be that difficult to put one lug on a car, but there's always that in the heat of the moment, things are a little harder to, not so standard as they would be, you would think. But overall, though, I am super happy with the new cars. I'm super excited. I mean, I think they nailed it. The amount of just side by side drafting and passing, and it was not a boring race. There was a lot going on the whole time. The cars seemed pretty evenly matched. It was definitely a show of skill over mechanical advantages.
Yeah, I think the Fords had a little aero advantage. It seemed like.
Maybe but again,
it wasn't far off though.
No, and I like that it was basically pack racing for 500 miles. There was a couple of points where it strung out to single file, but then they brought it back to 2 lines, and it was pretty tight for most of it. I mean, bump drafting and the whole thing, it was good.
Yeah, and that whole thing, I think we touched on it last time, Andrew, after the short race in LA. The bump drafting now is a little more forgiving on the cars.
Yeah, the cars bounce. They have bounce to them.
Yeah, they don't just wad up on a slightest touch and ruin all the aero.
Speaking of, Bubba's car took a hit and he didn't wreck. His fender flew off.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was pure luck. I mean, just...
but also to the credit of the car, after that, he lost that race by 0.36 thousandths of a second, which with that much aero change.
Yeah.
If you took an entire fender off of an old style NASCAR car, he would have been top speed 20% under everybody else.
Yeah.
So he was still able to mix it up with the pack with that, which was...
And if he had that fender, he probably would have won.
I mean, that fender might have caused 36 thousandths of a second difference. You're right. That could have been a whole game changer. I mean, if the finish line was 100 feet beyond where it was, he would have won the race too. I mean, that's just... I get how you get a little butt hurt in that.
Yeah.
Listen, you finished second in the Daytona 500. I think that's his second place there, is it not?
I don't know.
I thought he finished second there a year or two ago as well. But to finish second...
Coca-Cola 600 or something like that.
Either way, to finish second at the Daytona 500 is no small feat.
Yeah.
And it's something to be proud of. But at the same time, it's also something to be pissed about if he lost by 0.036 of a second. That is so damn close. In fact, watching it at home, I know Bradley was here when it was on, and we were watching it together, and both of us were like...
I think you won it.
We thought Bubba won the race. Because it was so fast past the start-finish line, we didn't even catch what a start-finish line was. So
it was so crowded, and
you're
watching the two cars go over the start-finish, but then everybody behind them got tangled up, so you're distracted.
Yep,
which is a pretty typical NASCAR Daytona 500 finish. It's somebody's pulling a last-ditch effort to get that last points place, and it causes a remainder of the cars pile up, and then timing has to figure out if it even counts crossing the finish line in the pit lane. So
right,
it was a hell of a race. I think I said this last year. I said that I was excited about what NASCAR was doing, and as a former rabid NASCAR fan who fell off of NASCAR in 05, 06, and last year I started to get back into it again. I think that this year is really going to be it. I think I'm going to watch a bunch more races. I'm definitely going to tune in for all the road course stuff. I'm definitely going to tune in for the dirt race again. I don't think there's any events on the schedule that look like they're going to be boring. Every track is all the remaining tracks are pretty good. So I'm excited. I was actually talking to Naomi about possibly picking up some tickets when they come into town here for the Phoenix track in March.
I didn't look. What road courses are they running? Just 2 again, or are they running more than 2?
No,
I think 3.
There's 3 this year. With the Roval, and
are they doing Daytona again?
I think they're doing the Roval again. It was pretty successful last year.
I think this year they're doing Road America as well.
Oh, I'm actually pulling it up right now.
I know they've been doing that with Xfinity for a few seasons.
It must be going to the Glen. That's kind of a standard.
Yeah, that one's always going to go.
You know what's crazy is that, Andrew, we've talked about going to that for years.
I know. We really should go to that.
And then Sonoma is always on the schedule.
So let's see. We got.
I mean, I'd even go back to New Hampshire.
Coda.
Oh yeah, they're doing Coda this year
in March.
So Coda.
Is Coda a decent place to watch a race, or is the?
Yeah, there are places that are pretty good. I was there for the F1 race last summer.
My worry is that with the FIA runoffs, you're like really far away from the track.
Yeah, you're close enough that you can see what's going on because it's pretty. The problem is that it's pretty flat.
Yeah.
Except for that big hill at turn 1.
Yeah.
So unless you're at turn 1 or turn 2, you're really only going to see what's right in front of you, which is kind of the same thing at all road courses.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it looks like we're going to have, like we said, Coda. What is going on with my computer here? I see what it is. So we have Coda is going to be a road course. Watkins Glen is going to be a road course, obviously. I saw Charlotte Motor Speedway is going to be the Roval.
Indy Roval.
Indy is going to be the Roval.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's going to be at least 4 or 5 road course races. So and Watkins Glen's not in the schedule. Well, there it is.
There it is.
Watkins Glen.
I was going to say it's got to be.
So yeah, that's 5 road courses this year. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going like IndyCar's down to 2 ovals.
Yeah. Well, I think 3.
3 ovals.
I think 3.
It used to be a lot of ovals and not many road courses, and now it's mostly road courses.
Yeah.
We need NASCAR to go that way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the TV ratings don't lie. When they do something fun, it's watched more than anything else. I guess that the TV ratings for the Coliseum race were like more than they were almost like Super Bowl numbers, weren't they?
Oh wow. I mean probably. It was a really cool event.
It was a big to do.
I watched it, and I don't normally watch NASCAR. I think this is the first time I watched the 500 in a couple of years. So, yeah, I made it a point to watch it.
So I do have an issue with the sponsor of Watkins Glen. They named the race "Go Bowling at the Glen," which is pretty sounds like a boring event to me. But I guess Go Bowling must be the sponsor. Go Bowling
has been the sponsor for years. Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, I'm excited for NASCAR this year. I think I said that last year, and I did watch more last year than I probably watched in the 10 years prior to that. So I think that moving forward, I'm going to continue to watch more and more. And I don't think I'll ever go full NASCAR fan with pit vipers and a mullet, but I'll definitely I'll go full modern NASCAR fan.
Yeah, I like the cars look more like a car now.
Yeah, honestly, it reminded me a lot more of like an Australian touring car kind of spec. Like it's not quite as good as an Australian touring car because those are still unibody cars with a cage in them, but it had more of that look to it. It's more identifiable as a car, which I think is important. And I think that ultimately that might be one of the things that hurt NASCAR was making the car not look like the street car. So I don't know. I'm way into it. It's gonna be good. So.
Yeah. Just wait till they pull some stunt like they're going to race on the beach again or something.
I mean, that'd
be awesome.
That's basically the stunt they pulled with. They've already pulled 2 stunts. They did a dirt course, and they did the Coliseum race. And
Charlotte Roval was kind of a stunt, and Daytona Road Course is kind of a stunt.
Yeah,
they're doing good things. I like it.
Yep, they got to mix it up. It's been stagnant for so long, and last time they tried to mix it up, they went like full World Wrestling Federation with it, and it was the wrong thing to do. It was like they spent too much time hyping up personalities and not enough time hyping up the racing.
Mm-hmm. And
I think this time here they're doing the right thing and they're hyping up the racing. So
I still look at the stages. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
it's a little engineered break.
Yep,
fine.
Yep,
yeah. Yeah, I don't understand it. The one thing that I do like about the stages, and I think this is the main reason they exist, is it's that mid-race excitement. So you have that battle for your stage win. You're not just waiting 500 miles for that last-ditch effort battle.
Sure.
You have a battle every 150 miles.
The downside is I don't remember who won stage 1 and 2.
I don't, but there's been a lot of like last lap passing action and whatnot in those.
Sure.
And I think that's what it's there for because, I bet there was a big focus group of people that watch NASCAR and the biggest complaint was like the races are just too long to come down to the last second. Like we don't need 500 miles and 3 hours of nothing happening and then waiting for the end of the race. So
go talk to an endurance racing fan.
Listen, I get it. And endurance racing fans aren't mainstream motorsports fans either, and we're not appealing to the mainstream. That's why to be an endurance racing fan, you have to know how to chase it down on the internet to watch it.
Not like you rally fans that have a winner every 30 minutes.
Sure, which we also can't watch because we're trudging through the woods with no cell phone signal trying to figure out what the hell's happening.
Right.
So
wait, so you spent 12 hours and you saw the cars 2 times?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we saw 2 laps all day. We hiked 7 miles. We camped in the woods. We haven't showered in 3 days, and we're really drunk.
Yeah, we froze our butts off the top of Mount Washington to watch 2 runs.
Yeah, I almost died that day too because I had to hike up to that spot, and I don't hike, so it was not good. Still mad at Jordan for that. Oh yeah, it's easy. Yeah, it's easy when you're used to hiking.
That is the easy part.
Like, 100%. It's the easy part. When you're used to hiking places. But when your normal hike is walking from the bedroom to the car to drive to work, it's a little more a challenge. Which, maybe I should thank him because it woke me up to the fact that I am woefully out of shape. So anyway, Daytona was good. NASCAR is excellent this year. I'm full on excited for it. It's funny because living here in Phoenix, it's opposite of being in New England. Summertime is when we kind of huddle indoors, and wintertime is when we go outside. So I don't even mind that NASCAR races are going to be on during summer weekends because I can sit inside the air conditioning and watch them. So it's going to be fun. So it's good to be into motorsports. It's a good thing to follow.
Yeah. I kind of taking the winter off of racing, obviously. Going to the 24 at Daytona kind of got me back into the feeling for it again of like, oh yeah, motorsport is awesome. I love watching racing. This is great. So
even if in endurance racing, it's hard too. Like you say, like you have 24 hours of coverage to watch.
Yeah.
And nobody can pay attention for 24 hours.
No.
That's not actively involved. Even if you're at the track for 24 hours, you must take a break from watching racing a little bit.
Yeah, for sure you do.
You go take an hour of lunch, and it's not like you're gonna, you still have additional 23 hours of racing to watch.
Right.
It's not like you're wasting time. Like you go to a NASCAR race, you spend an hour outside the stands, you've missed a third of the race.
Right.
So it's a little different. Right. I have never spectated a 24-hour endurance race. I know you have. I know Andrew's been there as well.
I've been to a few. I've done Le Mans twice. I've done the Nürburgring once. I think this was my 5th Daytona 24. And I've done the 25 Hours of Thunderhill twice as a spectator, as a someone following the race for writing about it.
So basically, you spent about a month of your life just watching racing.
Yeah, just watching racing.
That's
and
crazy.
that's without watching the stuff that I watched on TV for years.
No, I would like to go to an endurance race like that. I've seen some of the sports cars in there. Like at Lime Rock when they do like a 3-hour timed race, which is it's still fun, but it feels like by the time you get there, start watching the race before you know it, the race is over. By the time you walk from one spectating point to another, there, like the race is pretty much over.
Yep.
So I think it would be really cool to go to a 24-hour race, and it sounds like you guys are the ones to go do it with because you have the experience.
They're definitely fun.
To show me how to walk it and do it properly.
It's definitely something you got to bring your hiking shoes for. Usually when I go to a 24, I'll walk, 30 miles or something like that in a day.
Maybe I'm out.
Yeah, I had my Fitbit at the time, and when I went, and it was like 17,000 steps or something.
Yeah.
That sounds like rookie numbers compared to 30 miles.
No, that's like, it was like 20-something
I usually
miles.
walk like 12 miles out of Radwood, so.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So we're going to have a very health conscious weekend this weekend. Then.
Yes,
because
right.
we're going to need it after all the food we've been eating.
Yes.
So
yeah, I'm
anyway.
feeling great right now.
Sorry. I took him for the richest, grossest place in town for lunch. So,
it was delightful.
Yeah.
Fantastic food.
I don't think you've been there yet out here, Andrew, or anybody listening who's from Phoenix. The WTF Express.
Nope, never heard of it.
All right.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's grotesquely terrible for you, but
Yes.
it's a restaurant entirely comprised of comfort food.
Yep.
So it's delicious.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so Daytona 24, project cars.
Well, Bradley got to drive an Acura.
Yes. It was. I have a piece up on jalopnik.com. I unfortunately only got 3 laps, but 3 laps is better than no laps.
Is that speed?
At speed.
Oh.
Is this the full road course?
Full road course.
Whoa.
In the new NSX Type S, which is the 600 horsepower all-wheel drive hybrid supercar that they make. It's they only made, I think, 600 for global consumption, and they sold out in like 4 days.
Wow.
Really cool car. Sounds great, looks great, drives great, obviously, all the things. We had a lead follow, and there were 3 cars per group, and we went out of the pits. Basically, the first lap was kind of like a sighting lap where you got to kind of get used to the car, get used to braking, all that kind of stuff. The second lap was at full speed. The third lap was at full speed. And then like the final, when you're coming out of the bus stop, it was kind of like, okay, we're going to get back up on the banking and then slow down.
The Le Mans chicane.
Yeah, the Le Mans chicane, right. Of course.
Bus stop.
Bus stop. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure if I had like 20 laps with the car, I could have gone way faster. But I mean, we hit like 170 across the stripe.
Jesus Christ.
It's fast. Yeah, it's fast. It's a fast car. It's real fast. So yeah, and then like you cross the stripe and you got to start braking for turn 1. And I was following Ryan Eversley, pro driver, Acura driver, and he was in a Type S at the front, and there were 3 of us behind him, and he was kind of walking us through it on a walkie-talkie over the radio, and it was great. It was short. It was about 8 minutes.
170 miles an hour. I don't think it lasts very long at all.
No,
yeah,
it was about 8 minutes. But you know what they say: 7 minutes in heaven was pretty good. So
yeah, that was. I'm insanely jealous. Like, I've never driven, obviously, on Daytona, and I would say that the majority of people listening also haven't driven a car on Daytona. So that's a pretty awesome opportunity to be given.
I will say it gave me a new respect for how fast racers are going.
Yeah,
because they're going way faster than that,
right?
And they're cornering way faster, and they're accelerating way faster.
Just knowing what that track looks like from like a simulator, like
yeah.
And obviously I can't compare a simulator to actual seat time on a track.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. Like
the first time I went up on the banking, I literally just like expletived my way.
Yeah. So did you have an instructor in the car with you?
No, I was solo.
Man.
Yeah.
They trusted you, huh?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
There's I get the Track Night in America emails. They're doing one at Daytona. I don't know if it's the full road course. I didn't look into it.
I would imagine it would
far
be.
away.
There isn't much else they can run there.
Yeah. There's a lake in the middle, so you can't really cut through.
Yeah.
And then, just even being there. I mean, Brad, you've been there for the Daytona 500.
Sure.
But that was my first time going there. It was so impressive seeing the banking. You're like, oh, this is way steeper than it looks on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having been there for the 500, I was a little spoiled because we had really good seats, because I probably told the story before that, my grandfather started buying them in the 60s and my dad kept buying them. They kept upgrading us and upgrading us and upgrading us. So we would go in, and our seats were in that section of seating that you see on TV right behind the flagman. And you don't really get a good perspective of the banking of the track from there, because you're high enough off of it that you don't really get the perspective. So
you're almost parallel with it there when you're at the front stretch.
So I
'Cause
never.
the way the stands go up, they almost go up at like the opposite angle, and then it becomes like a flat line down to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I was just too young and wasn't really impressionable by those kinds of things, but I don't think so. I think I was probably 14 or 15 last time I was there. But no, I don't remember having that same reaction. I'm sure if I went out up next to the track and could look at it, I'd probably have a different perspective or see a car sitting sideways on it.
I walked up it. It's steep.
Difficult.
It's steep.
Was it 38? 32?
I don't remember, but it's definitely steeper in some parts than others.
Listen, I hiked to my spectating spot on Mount Washington. I know about steep, all right, guys? So, no stress. No, I know I've seen like banking other tracks. Like I've been on the banking at like New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and it's not nearly as steep as Daytona. But even that is impressive to walk on. Like it seems crazy to think the cars drive that way. And Daytona, I know, was a much steeper banking than there. So I'd like to get an opportunity to put my feet on the track at Daytona. I'm not sure what changes I have to make in my life to make that happen, but we'll try to make that happen at some point.
If you go out during the 24 at night and you're at like NASCAR 1, you're literally looking up at sports cars above you, like almost sideways. It's crazy.
That's super cool.
Yeah, you can walk up the fence, and they're basically it's like a velodrome. They're like right up above you.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
all right, I'm sold. All right, Andrew, let's book some tickets.
And they're like passing 3 wide around slower cars. And it's
I know that's intense on television. I can't imagine that in person.
Yeah, it's cool.
So,
it's really cool.
So did you pass anybody in your
No, we were not allowed to pass.
Ryan Eversley looks to his left. It's just Bradley smiling at him.
If I was even possibly capable of passing Ryan Eversley in anything, I'm in the wrong line of business.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude's a pro.
Oh, excellent. Well, that's cool. I'm all stoked up on motorsports now. After that conversation, I don't even know where to go from there. Let's take it down a notch and talk about our painfully slow vehicles that we own, right?
Yes.
I haven't done anything project car wise because obviously I've been on the injured reserve list for a couple of weeks here. I'm not healed to the point where I can even crawl around the ground and get back up on my own yet, so we're not going to do that yet. So, Andrew, have you worked on much?
I changed the air filter in the Volkswagen. That's about it.
Whoa!
You basically got your ASE cert now, right?
Yeah, that brand new car.
Excellent.
Did you study at YouTube University for that one, or
I did make a YouTube video on it to help other people.
Is it a pain in the ass like in mine? You can't do it with a normal Phillips head screwdriver?
Yeah, to get a Torx.
Yeah, so
because I didn't have any.
Yeah, most of the fittings in Volkswagens are either triple squares or Torx. And it's super annoying.
That's what I like about my Ford is it's clips. You don't even need a screw.
Everything is clips.
That's everything. Yeah, most things are. Volkswagen was like, we are going to make this difficult.
Yeah.
It is
More reparations.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, my Volkswagen was the same way. I recently did an air filter in it. It was a huge pain in the ass. It's not a huge pain in the ass once you have the right tools. But the problem is Torx are such a not common tool to use. They're not at the ready in the toolbox. You have to search for them.
But they are available at your local dealer.
Yes.
You know, the dealer will do this for you.
Yes.
It's very common.
Only $125 for the deal to put an air filter in. So I now have Torx for the same reason you do, Andrew, because I own a Volkswagen. So actually, I did already own them because it's not my first Volkswagen. So I knew what I was getting into. But it's a pain in the butt. And then we start doing stuff like axles, and you need those triple squares. They trick you because they look like Torx, but they're different. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't even exist. That there's different things other than what's in your standard toolkit.
Well, it's funny. I have the Torx bits because of all the construction screws use Torx now because they don't strip out like Phillips.
Okay.
That's why they use them. But I didn't have like a socket version to go on my ratchets, so I had to buy those.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. And then I think that like the axle nut on a modern Volkswagen too is like a 23 millimeter 12 point. Like it's another super obscure, weird tool to have that you need to do axles on the cars. So anyway, Bradley, have you worked on anything lately? We don't want to get into all your cars, but if you've worked on anything, we can chat about it.
Yeah, I got elbows deep in a Ford E350 Econoline van 6-liter diesel the other day.
That sounds greasy.
It was extremely greasy. My hands have not been dirtier before or since. And yeah, so we were on a cross country road trip. As I said, we were heading to Nevada from Michigan, and I bought this van last June as like mostly as the Radwood transport van, but also for like hauling bikes, and I can tow cars with it and stuff. It's got a 10,000 pound tow rating, so pretty simple to haul pretty much anything. And it's served really, really well. It gets fairly decent mileage for what it is. It's comfy and big, and people kind of get out of your way. It's an old ambulance, so if I pull up to the party, I can have the lights flashing and
I like it.
Get a little siren going.
Like it's currently bringing down the property value of my neighborhood being parked out front, but
I brought all the road salt with me from Colorado.
Yeah, definitely did that too.
Or from Nebraska or whatever.
My cars are all rusting in fear.
Yes. We were let's see, where were we? Wyoming. So day
Lovely
2.
place.
Yeah. Wyoming's gorgeous. It's lovely up there. The roads are kind of boring, but
there's nobody there to help you if you break down.
And it was emptiness. So we were going, and then there was, just hit the cruise at 70 and just keep going. And there was this, just traffic was at a standstill because a semi-truck had hit the guardrail and ripped a fuel tank off, and just diesel burned everywhere for an hour. So there was standstill on the highway. We got through that, and the next stop, we had to pee, so we pulled off and got some snacks and drinks and stuff. And I don't even think I'd put fresh diesel in it. It was just ready to go. And swap drivers. My wife got in the driver's seat. She pulls out of the gas station, and she's getting ready to pull onto the on-ramp. And she goes, "Something's wrong." And I'm like, what's wrong? And she goes, "It won't accelerate. It won't go." And of course she's frustrated, and I'm frustrated, and whatever. So I have her get out, and I get in, and we have to pull over a curb to get in the off ramp so that we can get back onto surface streets. And it won't go over 3 miles an hour. Like it's something's wrong. It's choked or something's wrong. And so we pull back into the gas station and park it. And there's a check engine light. So I start looking for diesel shops that are open. It's Saturday, of course, so nobody's open. Everybody's like, "Well, you could probably bring it in on Monday, but I won't have a tech to work on it till Tuesday." And I'm like, "Well, I don't really want to stay in the middle of Wyoming for 4 days." So I started, doing the thing that I always do, is I started looking at Craigslist to see what else is available.
Perfect.
But I also started looking for, if there was a parts store that was open, so that I could see what I could see. So there was a Napa that was still open down the street, and this was in Laramie. Luckily, a fairly big town, and if we really needed to, we could have been towed to a bigger town or whatever. But there was a Napa open, so I walked down there. I got a OBD reader, brought it back to the truck, and found out that it was the EGR system. And it's a 6-liter diesel, so I knew the EGR system is like a weak point. So I was like, okay. Started looking online, like what are the fixes? What are the problems with this? How do you get it back going? Apparently Ford, what they used to do was they would take the EGR valve out, clean it, get it lubed up again, and put it back in. But then that only lasts like 20 or 30,000 miles. So then now Ford's been replacing them instead of like cleaning them. So I was like, well, I'll see if this Napa has one. They didn't, obviously. So then I was like, well, I guess I'll have to dig in there, take it out, clean it, put it back.
I mean, 20,000 miles should get you to your next destination.
To my next destination, yeah.
Where are you going? The moon.
Yeah, right. So it's good enough for a while. I'll have to dig into it again when I get to Ohio. But anyway, so
it's better.
It's better. I had to, and of course, if it was a truck, if it was an F-350, an F350, not an E350. And then I could just open the hood, take the EGR valve out, clean it, put it back. But with an E350, the EGR valve is under the dash.
Of course.
So it's like 6 feet into the engine bay. You've got to take. I had to take the intake out. I had to take the boost lines all off, and it recommended taking the upper radiator hose off, but I didn't want to deal with rebleeding the coolant system, so I just had to work around it, and it took probably an extra hour that I didn't want to deal with. But
so during all of this,
yes,
what is the weather in Wyoming in mid-February like?
It was like 45 degrees and super windy. I did the whole thing in t-shirt and shorts.
Okay,
it was fine.
That's not bad then.
Yeah.
I was expecting
sunny,
like
luckily.
-10.
No. Luckily, it was like warm and sunny, and
okay.
And it was okay. We parked up against the wall of the Napa so that it would block the wind.
Okay,
and that helped a lot. But it was sunny. It was nice. Thankfully, if it had been dark, I'd have been out there in like an overcoat because it would have been
real cold. Yeah.
But luckily, the time of day that it was, the place where it was, we managed to make it work. So obviously, I'm an idiot and I travel without any tools. So since the Napa was there, I bought $200 worth of tools, and I bought
It's still less than a toe.
It's way less than a toe, and I bought a big can of brake clean, so I had plenty left to clean my hands with when I got done with the job.
Is that why your hands are flaking off right now?
Yeah, right. So. I actually felt pretty good when I got it done because I've never worked on diesel before, and it's not a job I've ever done before. But I went to YouTube University. I put on my learning hat and got the job done. So
I mean, honestly, these kinds of stories really are what makes these road trips in the end. Like that's like a hero story.
Yeah. And the great thing is like my wife is maybe now used to it because she didn't panic. She wasn't super stressed. I was like, we'll get there. We'll figure it out. It's a pain in the ass, but we'll figure it out. And of course, the whole time I'm just thinking like, are we going to have to get a hotel tonight? Are we going to, and then I got to the point where I was like, I'm digging into this. If I get it wrong, we're really stuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That's always been my thing now too, with the driving an old car on a road trip. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is the car explodes and blows up and you can't fix it in the side of the road and you're stranded in the middle of nowhere. But then you remember that it's 2022.
Yeah.
I have a world's most powerful computer from 10 years ago in my pocket.
Yep.
I can find a place to stay.
Yep.
We have a credit card.
Yep.
We can make it home.
Yep.
Worst case, the worst thing that can happen is I have to abandon a car.
Yep.
We're not
if I have to rent a car and
we're not going to die on the side of the road in Wyoming if our car dies. It's not like it used to be.
Right.
So
right.
It really is less to be nervous about now. It might cost us a lot more than we want to pay to figure out how to get home.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what credit cards are for.
Mm-hmm.
And we can pay it off over the next few months if we have to.
Yep.
But it hasn't happened yet. Thankfully, knock wood.
Yeah. And we had some time built into this road trip. It's not like I would have been late for Radwood or anything. So it was like, We'll figure it out. If we have to miss plans with friends or whatever, we can rent a car, go to Reno, put everything in a box truck, bring it back here, have a diesel shop fix it, transfer everything from the box truck into the van, then go to Radwood. It would have worked out. Yep. But we fixed it, got back on the road, everything fixed the trip. So I felt good about that. And then... so that was fun. And then my 912 has been at the shop since December. 76 912E. I got the motor rebuilt. I went on one road trip and I hit a pothole that was so bad that it broke the lower control arm. So
and the body of the car.
And it bent the mount for the control arm, yes. Yeah. So I was like, well, this is too much for me to handle. I'm going to take it to a shop, have them do it.
I mean, truthfully, the car needed almost like a frame machine to straighten that floor pan out. It was pretty bad.
Yes. So I dropped it off to them before we left for Michigan in December. And he called me literally while we were in Laramie. And he goes, hey, the car's done. It's like, well, I'm working on the other one right now. So not a priority at the moment, but I'll see you when I get there.
It's done. Good. Come fix this one.
Yeah. So it was expensive. It was like $3,000 in repairs for hitting a pothole, which was fun.
Not fun.
No, not at all. And the bigger problem is that car has always had a steering shimmy, like at 70-ish miles an hour, that has zero explanation. I cannot figure out why it does it. And this didn't fix it. So still there.
We were chatting about that earlier. There's no parts left in the front end that you haven't replaced.
I've replaced literally everything in the front end. I have no idea what's wrong. Other than maybe the mount is bent where I have no idea.
Oh.
It's weird.
Not good.
No. So anyway, it's been like that for 8 years now. I guess I'll just keep dealing with it. It eats tires like crazy on that front end too.
What is is it a steering rack?
I haven't replaced the rack, but there's no play in it. And I've replaced the tie rod ends. So I don't know.
Tie rods, but you could feel the play. It's harder to feel the play, but they do wear out in the inners.
Oh yeah, I've replaced the inners. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, they all come as one big unit.
Weird.
Are those power steering or not?
No.
Okay, so it's manual rack.
Manual rack.
There's less to go wrong.
I've had the rack out, and I've tested the play in the shaft, and there's none.
They're kind of like a Super Beetle. Right, as a
Kinda,
rack, right?
yeah.
Non-Beetles had drag links? I don't know. I don't know anything about Beetles that much.
Supers? Non-supers, you mean?
Yeah, non-supers?
Yeah, early ones were a circulating ball. Supers had the racks
rack and pinion.
Yeah, rack. Yeah.
That's part of what made it a super.
Yep.
It was more like a normal car, even though.
So yeah, I've replaced everything from the torsion bars to the lower control arms to the ball joints, tie rods, wheels and tires, shocks, the whole nine. So the only thing I can think now is uprights and shock towers are like the only thing that I can think of that could possibly...
Is the shock tower rusty?
No. Nope.
Because that would be both a possibility and frightening.
If I get the only thing I can think is, other than that, is maybe if I get the fuel tank out, the suspension pan in the front, those rust commonly.
Okay.
So it could be something there. I hope not, because that's like major surgery, but...
It sounds like it would be pretty easy to fix if it's hidden, unless you wanted it pretty. You could just brace it up instead of fixing it properly.
I mean, it's probably a cutout and weld back in thing.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah.
You were talking earlier about wanting to learn how to weld better, so there you go.
That's true.
It's like somebody from above is giving you the learning experience that you're looking for.
Well, and I'm going to Ohio where welding is common, so...
Yeah, that is funny too, actually, because people in places where cars don't rust don't know how to fix rust.
Yep.
So it is good to bring it somewhere where they do.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Andrew, you went to a rally sprint this weekend, right?
I did. I went up to it was a New England Region SCCA at Team O'Neill. They use the facility there. They do rally sprints every couple months, but this one was the first one. They started it later in the day, so they could go into darkness, so people could get a chance to do some night stages. Because that's not super common in the United States anymore to do night stages. A lot of rallies just don't do it.
I don't remember ever seeing much about it since we went to Prescott in like 2010.
Yeah, it really fell off.
I used to go to, I guess it was before 2010, but I used to go to New England, or not...
STPR?
No, I went to...
Snowdrift?
I went to Snowdrift and I went to Lake Superior, LSPR.
Okay.
And they both had night, because it was in the middle of winter and they last 4 hours.
Daylights, not very much. So, but yeah, for whatever reason. And then like STPR used to be a single day event, so they literally would go from like 6 a.m. till 10 or 11 at night. But yeah, it just wasn't very common anymore. But
speaking of Snowdrift, though, that was the same weekend. Was there a reason that they ran the?
Yeah, some people didn't want to go from New England all the way to the Upper Peninsula in Michigan.
Okay, checks out.
If you're already in the Midwest, it's not too big a deal. But if you got a tow from here to there,
it's probably 12 hours.
20 hours probably.
No, from Mass to the UP.
Towing.
Yeah, it's not quite UP. It's like here.
It's Atlanta.
For the record, he's showing me his hand in Michigan, where
it's like where your middle finger meets your palm.
Yeah,
because it's in
relative. Like where I know where Detroit is.
Yeah, sure. It's like 3 hours northwest of Detroit.
That's like going from here to the New England Forest Rally in Maine.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know why the Upper Peninsula is not a different state. It should just be a different state. You crazy Michigan people.
Hey, listen, Michiganders know what's up.
It should just be the state of
Up, yeah.
Uppers. The UP.
Well, you need uppers to get through that cold winter.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I got a couple cool shots. Got one of the Saab flying through the air there.
I know what Saab's flying through the air, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's 19 hours from Salem, Mass to a generic Upper Peninsula. So it's a long ride. Well, and as we know, rally is expensive. So,
yeah.
I mean, if you're going to dedicate all that time and effort into a weekend of rallying, it's much cheaper to do a sprint where it's one day, it's a couple hours from home, and you're back the same day.
Yeah.
Well, one of the other reasons is a lot of people don't like going because the Michigan DOT doesn't allow studs.
That's correct, yes. Michigan DOT does not allow studs.
It makes it really hard in a two-wheel drive car if you've got any sort of ice, which is, I guess, what happened. So a lot of two-wheel drive people... I mean, they still had a good time because it's rally, but they didn't have a good time because they got stuck.
We're just stuck all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The entire state of Michigan doesn't allow studs in tires?
Correct.
That seems wild for a state that gets more snow than most.
The problem is we don't... Well, I say we. I don't live there anymore, but Michigan DOT does not get a lot of funding from the state. So it was ruining roads, and they said, we don't have the money to fix it, so...
We'd rather you died in a fiery crash.
Correct, yes.
Okay. Interesting.
So,
I mean, our roads are pretty terrible too.
And literally when I was younger, I went into Discount Tire and I was like, I want studdable snows. And they were like, it is illegal to put studs in your tire. And I was like, I am aware. I just want studdable snows, please.
Yeah. So is it something that's enforced?
Yes.
If I come from out of state, is it enforced?
I don't know that. I don't think so, because I've lived in Ohio where it is legal, and I would travel to Michigan on studded tires.
Without thinking about it.
And without thinking about it.
Because I've run studs in the past. They are noisy and annoying, but they definitely
well,
help.
Where I was in Nevada, in Reno, it's at high altitude, and people run them all the time in Nevada winters. And sometimes it'll be June, and you'll hear somebody come down from the mountains,
clacking,
and they go to the grocery store and they're clacking through the parking lot.
Yeah, I think what is it? November to May, Andrew? It's allowed in Massachusetts.
November 1st, April 1st.
April 1st. Yeah. It's illegal to run them all year for that same reason.
Right.
So
right.
It's much more common when you get somebody from New Hampshire or Vermont will come down. You'll see the plate. You'll hear it. And you look at the plates. They're New Hampshire, Vermont, because when you get up towards where like Team O'Neill is way up, they're 3 hours away. They're like almost to Canada in New Hampshire, so they definitely have snow. But when you get up to there, the back roads, they don't have a bare pavement policy like here, and they don't throw salt down. They might sand, but that's it. So like the interstate was salted, but everywhere else was just, and like the little downtown area, they threw salt. But once I got right off of there, and then it's a paved road, mostly a back road to Team O'Neill. It was all just solid snow with a fresh layer of snow. I was in the Volkswagen, which has winter tires on it.
Yep.
Which really complains when you pull the handbrake. It's like ding, like I'm okay, all right.
Yeah.
But I mean the ESC wasn't too intrusive. I didn't shut it off, but because I was going along and it like started to understeer. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Instead of slowing down, I gave it a little more throttle because nobody's around and drifted away from the snowbank. I was like, yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, listen, I don't miss living with the snow, but I definitely miss driving with the snow.
Well, where I live here, it literally doesn't last long enough to go driving it.
Yeah.
They instantly salt, and it's just slush and gross.
Yeah,
it's not,
which is a more
it's not fun.
a more recent thing. It used to be a lot fun for a lot longer.
Yeah,
but
if you're up north, it's way more fun because all the back roads are not covered, are pretty much not plowed.
Yeah, I think that everywhere should have a non-bare pavement policy to separate the rookies from the experienced drivers. Can't handle it, go home.
Can't run with the big dogs.
There's a lot of reasons why we shouldn't be using salt and
big salt.
Yeah,
I mean it's funny that's the reason they don't use it a lot of places here. Like up in Flagstaff where they get snow, they don't use it because the salt was hurting the local pine trees and stuff. So
I don't understand. Like near where I work is near the Charles River, and they're like, yeah, you can't wash any vehicles there because they'll run off into the river. Meanwhile, there's tons of salt spread down there right now.
Yeah,
and you're just like, okay, this doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
If you've got not a lot of people are in well water, but some people are in well water. I certainly wouldn't want salt near my street if I've got well water because it's all going in the groundwater,
rusting all your pipes.
And yeah, it doesn't. And then I don't want to spiral too much here, but they're talking about they're having some flooding issues in Boston lately, and they're worried about the seawater getting into the groundwater around Boston and entering the drinking water. Meanwhile, I'm like watching the news, the guys talking about this. I'm like, so much salt right now. Like all of that goes down there.
Yeah.
And you're worried about some seawater?
Yeah. It's weird.
And then they couldn't put the snow. They literally couldn't take snow when they had too much snow and put it in the ocean because it was too salty.
Right. It was more salty than the ocean water.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's all going to melt and run off into that. Where do you think this runoff ends? Up in the ocean here.
Yeah, it's an odd thing, but they can't stop doing it because obviously, full Alex Jones tinfoil hat here, big salt. But also, if they stopped salting the roads, you would have so many people complaining about ice and slipperiness and how it's their fault of the city for not putting enough salt down. So it's a lose-lose situation.
I'm real salty about it. And even then, the giant salt pile they pull from is literally next to the water.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because it comes off a ship.
Yep.
So all that runoff.
It's another thing you can blame on Michigan, because I'm sure it started in Detroit, where everything underneath Detroit is salt mine.
And also, American car manufacturers wanted to ruin their product to sell more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Planned obsolescence.
That's the big salt part again. Yeah.
Yep.
We're onto something here.
Big salt and big corn are the two things ruining the country right now.
We need a lobby. Anti-big corn. All right. I think that we've gone a little bit long here, but Bradley wanted to play a game of Craig, Don't Tell Me, which we've never had a guest on to play Craig, Don't Tell Me before.
No, he played it before. He was here.
I did.
After Radwood in Boston.
I did.
Huh. I don't pay attention to life.
At Andrew's house.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Well, then he liked it so much last time, he couldn't handle it and wanted to play it again.
It's one of my favorite things. I love it.
So I think that he's going to start with one car. He's doing it on his telephone, so I cannot see. He's a little far away from the microphone, though, when he does it.
All right. I have a thing, though, to do before. I'm going to play us in.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hold on. This is new news. Breaking news. Go ahead.
All right, let's play a game of Craig, Don't Tell Me.
I'm so upset that I spoiled that. I didn't even know that was coming. All right. So I think our first contestant today is Mr. Bradley Brownell. He's going to try to get, I think both of us can Andrew this.
All right,
both of us can answer this, Andrew.
Yes.
I believe Andrew again is getting it wrong. So both of us can answer it.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good track record.
I tell you the year or no?
It's up to you how much info you want to give us.
Gotcha. Okay.
Generally, we do give a year and a dollar figure.
Got it.
For sure.
Got it.
And then when reading the description, we leave out anything with the manufacturer's name in it. But we can, if it does say like 350, we can say 350.
Mm.
You just got to be careful or not careful sometimes if it says something like, 2.6 liter or Sportomatic or something that's going to be a specific manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
You can throw in there to help if you want, or you can leave it out to listen. I just made all those rules up. We've never had rules for this game before, so go ahead.
Got it. Okay,
they're all made up and none of them matter.
Yeah,
93 blank blank project.
Mazda Miata.
No.
Yeah, all right. I'll stop you. I was serious now.
$1,000.
Okay.
Very clean project. 2.0 non-turbo motor with new head. 5-speed front-wheel drive.
Okay.
135,000 miles. Nice interior.
Okay.
Many new parts. Pace setter header kit.
Yep.
New clutch kit
Yep.
with aluminum flywheel, timing belt, and water pump kit. ARP head bolts and
Yep.
more. Trades? ?
Andrew, do you know this one?
Sounds like
All right.
Brad knows.
This is a non-turbo DSM.
All right, let me
Yes.
give a guess then, because Brad probably is going to get it. But
We already guessed it. Sorry.
Andrew didn't listen though, apparently, so it's all right. Go ahead, Andrew.
I was talking.
Good.
Okay.
Ford Probe.
Nope.
No.
It's a non-turbo DSM.
It's an Eclipse. It's an Eclipse GX.
I was going to go there, but I didn't want to go there.
Yeah, when he said non-turbo and front-wheel drive,
Right.
there's no other car on the market that I can
But
think of that's
everyone
marketed as
puts-
a non-turbo and front-wheel drive.
Everyone puts front wheel drive. It doesn't necessarily mean. Because there's the descriptors of.
So the fact that they put front-wheel drive in their talking point, not in the
Sure.
descriptor,
Sure.
means that there is an all-wheel drive available.
Yeah.
And the fact that they put non-turbo means that
There's
is a turbo available.
Right.
And then you got ARP head studs, and I was like, the only person who would even put ARP head studs on a car that is 4 cylinders is a DSM person. It's going to have to be a DSM.
Okay.
So, all right, one done.
All right.
My brain works in weird ways. I'm sorry. That's just it's. So
Man
now,
is very
Andrew,
good
do you
at
have
this.
one? Andrew, you want to take a turn?
All right. Let's see. What one should I pick?
If not, I have some ready to go to.
Let's try this one. All right. This has got a lot of good descriptors in it. So, all right. Let's start with this. Blank, blank, blank. Great deal. Flawless engine and trans. All right. No BS. The motor and trans are flawless. I'm 100% a real deal honest guy. I mean,
I believe you. I believe you already.
all right.
Is
This
this
car
an
is quite
NFT?
unique. Yeah, it is a clean California car that runs, drives, sounds beautiful, with a 318 CI motor and auto trans. Only 28,000 original documented miles. Brand new automatic transmission. Custom exhaust. Sound great. She's an AC car. However, the compressor has been taken out, but I do have it. Let's see here.
Oh, this is rough. 1973 Dodge Duster.
What was? Did you say the price?
15 grand.
15 grand.
I'm sticking a 1973 Dodge Duster.
I'm gonna say. I don't know what year. I'm gonna say like 91 Ram 1500.
Oh, could be 318 still.
You guys are both so close.
So how?
I'll explain.
Hold on, 1973 Dodge D100.
No,
Oh, all right.
you were closer before.
Okay. Give me a little more.
All right. I'm 100% a car guy and know that Mopar has got such a huge following that with its many clubs and whatnot, Mopar today is like a car of religion. So I love to see this car in the hands of a true Mopar enthusiast or anyone that enjoys classics.
So it's classics, so it's not 93 probably. Although people do
No,
think 93
they
is
definitely
classics.
are now.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'm curious as to where I'm at. How we're both close
yeah.
on 20-year difference, and one's a pickup truck and one's a Duster.
So Brad is my Brad. Out off talk. Brad is closer.
My Brad, jeez, I think it's abuse.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but he's still close. So, is it a pickup truck vehicle? Is it a
Well,
truck SUV vehicle.
the guy is also advertising the same Craigslist ad, a truck that he has.
Okay.
Also, there's a Dodge Ram available as well.
It's actually a 95 custom chopped up Dodge Dakota.
Wow, I wasn't
With a
close at all.
318.
With a 318. Oh, wow.
See, Bradley was way closer because he had the 318 and a pickup truck, and I was in the 70s with a 318 and a Duster.
No, that's
he wants
the other half of this ad.
Oh.
The guy's got two cars. That's why I said you were both close.
I see.
Okay. Okay, so one is a pickup truck and one is what I was close at, and it's not a Duster, so it's got to be. Is it a full size or mid size?
Let's say it's a
Mid-size.
Marauda.
No, he just said mid size.
mid-size.
And it wouldn't be a Marauder around 73 if I was close on year.
It was a B-52 song.
Oh, it's
Or it's a lyric in a
it's a
B-52
LeBaron.
song. No. It's
A Trigetti Chrysler as big as a whale, about to set sail. What kind
Planet
of Chrysler?
Claire. She drove a Plymouth Satellite.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
74 Plymouth Satellite. So you're really close,
I was
Brad.
really close. That's the same chassis.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same chassis. Ooh, I might have just gotten way wrong on that. 74 Satellite.
Yeah. He's got like oversized rally wheels on it, Chrysler rally wheels. It's got a TA stripe.
It's a good looking car.
Oh yeah, that's a good car. So that's a full size car, or like a B body, I guess that would be. So it's bigger than the Duster. So 15 grand's not a bad price. Is it a good car?
Pretty good looking car. I'll send you the link.
15 grand's not bad.
Nobody wants the
That's not
74s.
right.
They've never
That's not
wanted
right.
74s.
74s have weird bumpers. But in a world where a 70, 71,
That's
72...
the wrong link.
In a world where an earlier car is 60 grand...
Right.
Then a $15,000 74 suddenly seems all right.
And it wouldn't be that hard to put a hot 360 in it or something.
No.
And,
No, in most states, it would be smog enough. Wouldn't need smog, so you could.
Right.
All right, my turn. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right. Blank, $8,000. For reference, I chose my cars from the Seattle, Washington area, so it'll be different from you guys. I am selling my blank with upgrades and a clean title. I had big plans to make her into a camper, but unfortunately I had to buy a truck for work. My loss is your gain. Super clean for the year. I have added a Pioneer with Bluetooth CarPlay for easy Spotify Google Maps use. Parentheses, I love it. Close parentheses. Integrated with a USB connection separate from the AC adapter, so you can use both at the same time. Brand new all-terrain backcountry tires, $1,000, that I bought in January 22 from Goodyear. I'll include the paperwork for those. Brand new battery, $200, bought in February from O'Reilly's with a 3-year warranty. Paperwork also included. Trailer hitch installed by U-Haul. Roof rack with Yakima box. WeatherTech floor mats. WeatherTech windshield shield. I'm not quite sure what a windshield shield is. I'm assuming he means window shields that are the side visors. Parentheses, installed, end parentheses. And I do have the WeatherTech rear window shields and bug shield, both brand new, still in the box, that I would include or I could install for you. Your option. All in all, it's a great SUV, so clue, that continues to be a great commuter or mini camper. No issues at all. So your important facts are blank wanted to turn into a camper, but went with a new truck instead.
I think I got...
What was the price?
I'm getting
The price is $8,000.
$8,000.
For reference, the tire size looks like they are a 205 60 16.
I think I'm getting a Vision.
Okay.
Honda Element.
Bam! On the nose.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, on the nose, 100%. So I thought that one was going to be difficult because there was not enough descriptor, but it was dumb enough to run it anyway.
When you said Seattle and a camper.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Yep. Wow.
Yep. Homeless Dave and his...
It's cheap. Actually, $8,000 for an Element. I think they're going for decent
I don't know
now.
what the mileage was for $8,000, but it's a 4-wheel drive one. It's got 175,000 miles on it.
It's nothing.
And it's that cool orange color they gave in. So I'm buying a plane ticket, guys. I'm gonna go buy this for my new daily.
I saw one with a pop top one time.
Yes, they make
Still
a pop
weird
conversion, but it costs more than this $8,000 just to do that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they're very expensive.
All right, I think we can all get one more out of us here. So, Bradley, what do you got for car number 2?
I got 2 really hard choices here. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one. I'm not giving you a year this time. So blank, $15,000. This is in Medina, Ohio. I lived there for a few years. It's
so you know that it's Medina, not Medina.
Yes.
All right.
It's an interesting place. This is a very nice blank, all caps. The car is very solid. Runs and drives very nice. Has had a recent paint job of the original color. Interior is very nice. Floors are solid. Original engine with 98,000 miles. Not looking for trade or lowball offers. Has the 1.7 engine.
Oh, it's Andrew, you want to go?
I don't know what's got a 1.7.
I can think of a few cars with the 1.7, but it's all the same engine, just used in multiple different vehicles. So this is.
But which one costs $15,000?
So this is probably a Rabbit.
It is not a Rabbit.
Then no other vehicle with a 1.7 should be $15,000.
Not true.
Oh, hold on, it's a 914.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
So when you said 1.7, my brain went to the 4-cylinder water-cooled one that was used across the Volkswagen line and also used across the Dodge Omni line. That's why I said that. But the 1.7, I think the air-cooled 1.7 was only a 914, correct? Because the buses were all 2 liters at that point?
Buses were all 2 liters, but I think it was available in...
Maybe a sedan or a
I think the Type 4
or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 914.
It's a nice looking car. It's orange with
painted bumpers lost me, but that's okay.
Yeah, it is fiberglass painted bumpers, but those are 916 style bumpers. I probably sold 10,000 of those things when I was selling parts. But anyway. Solid floors, looks like a carbureted swap. I wouldn't pay $15,000 for it, but hey ho.
Andrew, so I'm looking at that link for the satellite that you sent us.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. It's not terrible looking. The stripe is odd and not correct. It actually looks like a Datsun Honeybee stripe.
Yeah.
But I will say that this chopped Dakota is impressssively bad.
The chrome fender flares do it for me.
Yeah, but hey, it's the amount of work into that truck at $6,500. I mean, you can't. Where else are you going to buy something that unique?
Is that also a 318 car?
It is also a 318.
Oh,
yeah, that's why you two were so close.
Okay.
Yeah.
With a 5-speed. Oh, wow. I'd drive that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty neat.
I don't know. The good thing is that's chopped so far down that nobody can see you inside.
Yes, correct.
So it's fine.
I mean, there's a potentially, maybe you would win a Radwood with that. I don't know.
You know, if you took this and you took off some of the 2020 modifications that are on it, you got rid of the big wheels and stuff and put some error correct stuff on there, you might have something, Andrew. That's pretty cheap. I don't know how easy it'd be to drive a chopped Dakota, but it is what it is. All right, I got one more here, Eddie.
Yep.
All right. Blank parentheses stroker parentheses. $4,950. 383 Chevy Stroker. Total rebuild by a professional engine builder. Bigger cam, 9.5 to 1, 194 heads, balanced dyno, air gap intake, 650 yada yada. Can handle 750 horsepower if you want. That's an interesting way of describing it. If you want.
If you can afford it.
Mini starter, MSA distributor, 700 R4 transmission. Rebuilt, less than 4,000 miles on both. New radiator, all new exhaust, new rotors, 288 gears, not posi. All new chrome and aluminum goodies. This car is a real strong runner. I believe it will run up to 150 miles an hour the way it was set up now. Built for the highway or for whatever you choose. I use premium gas in royal purple with zinc.
Does it? Will it hop a Coke can in the rain?
So no, it will not. My assumption is that it won't start when it rains.
If he puts the title on the dash and I try to grab it as it accelerates, can I keep the car?
Well, he only wants $4,950 for the subscription of a brand new.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
750 horsepower potential build.
Yeah, right.
Is he selling just the engine?
He's selling the entire car, which that should tell you the value of the car that this engine trans combo is inside of right now. I'm going to give you a big clue, and because you're never going to get it. I just wanted to read a description for the world.
I'm assuming it is not a Chevrolet.
It's not in a Chevrolet.
This motor.
It is not in a vehicle built in this country.
Oh.
It is in a sleek, exotic European road-going machine, which I'm surprised he did not describe it as such.
Interesting.
Oh, so it's like 70s like an XJ20 or something Jag or whatever the hell they were?
I'm gonna give it to you. Yeah, I think you're thinking of XJ6 or XJ12.
Yeah.
Yeah, those big wide fat coupes.
No, it's not
It's
a coupe.
a sedan.
It's a sedan.
Yeah. XJ6
But yeah, it's
sedan.
an 84 XJ6 Jaguar.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, $5,000 for that. That sounds like a pretty rad car.
honestly, it kind of is. It's got some Joe Dirt bodywork.
Yeah.
But the interior is clean. The dash isn't cracked.
Because Glucker has a V8 swapped Jag, and he loves it.
Yeah, I 100%.
There's no way that's 750 horsepower.
Well, I mean, come on now. Look at those stock.
It definitely
exhaust
wouldn't run in the
manifolds.
rain.
Is it real 80s?
No, honestly,
It looks stock.
with the hood closed, you'd
Yeah.
have no idea anything was done.
Yeah.
Even the shifter on the interior picture isn't like some big B&M ratchet shifter. It's a
No.
stock-looking Jaguar shifter. I mean, actually, legitimately, if I was in a slightly different place right now, I would be flying to buy this car because it's
Radwood
real
car.
dumb. That's a great Radwood car.
That'd be an awesome
Yeah.
car. And you could we were just talking. That's a question we should ask the audience here.
What's that?
We were at a car show the other day.
Yep.
We saw a Lincoln Mark 8
Yep.
that was for sale. It
Yep.
didn't have a price on it. If it had a price on it, I probably would have bought it.
Right.
He didn't list a price. I wasn't going to call and haggle. I don't care.
Right.
But I at the end of this show will no longer have to drive the stuff around.
Right.
So I don't need to drive the van to Radwood all the time. So I should probably get something that's quiet, comfortable, and luxurious.
If only you had a European car from the 90s with all-wheel drive and a turbo that was already ready to drive to Radwood. But no, I support you driving another Radwood car.
If only you knew someone selling a beautiful, large luxury vehicle from the 90s.
Brad actually
From
mentioned
Japan.
that.
Yeah.
Brad mentioned that, and it's not a bad idea. But like, what is the highway bomber good car to buy that would draw attention at a Radwood? And Brad actually made a really good suggestion that got me on 25 other different tangents, but he said Unos Cosmo,
Yeah.
which kind of got me thinking that I might need to import a Unos Cosmo. But
Yeah. So what is the best Radwood era long distance cruiser that is also an attention grabbing, like, this is Radwood? That's why I went Unos Cosmo, because it's that big Mazda coupe with a triple rotor and like ridiculousness. Or alternative Toyota option, a Toyota Soarer, but not the Lexus SC 300 400 version, the more square one from before it, like the early 90s one.
yeah,
So I think either of those would be like, this is an attention-getting car. It's also a Radwood car. And I mean, there are other options too. You could have like, a 400i Ferrari would do the same. But now we're talking out of budget. We're talking
that's
something of a reasonable budget here.
I mean, what could you get a 400i for now? 30?
45.
40? Are they
Yeah.
that much? Jeez.
For
I mean,
one
it
that
is
you
a
could get in,
V12.
for
Yeah.
one that you could get in and drive across country and not
then-
worry too much about.
That's true.
Other than
And-
standard Ferrari stuff.
And would I really want a Ferrari with a
3-speed GM
3-speed
automatic.
GM automatic
Probably
on
not.
it?
And if you
You wanna
wanted a
do-
400i with a manual, you're talking $100,000.
Right.
So
Do you want to do one more, Craig? Craig, don't tell me.
you can,
Did I-
yeah, absolutely. But we meant to do that, so go ahead.
All right. This is $4,000.
Okay.
I bought this car with the
MGB.
intention of restoration,
Okay.
MGB.
but life has gotten in the way.
Definitely an MGB.
MGB.
Yeah.
Recently has had $4,000 of work done by Randolph Racing, including timing, water pump, completely new brakes, and lines are all around. Starts and
Randolph
idles,
Racing.
needs paint. And I can see I can read one of the receipts. It might give you a clue.
Okay.
Hold on. That's the wrong one.
Is Randolph Racing?
I can read this one.
Like a 944.
Not that I've heard of.
Okay. Diagnose hard start,
Yeah,
poor running,
944.
R&R warm-up regulator, back flush with Bosch injector cleaner.
A 944?
So close.
924.
Yeah.
Mm.
79,924.
I honestly, I do not know how I got there.
Yeah. I was going to say you can't get a 944 for $4,000.
You can in New England.
Well, maybe Rusty.
You can in New England.
Okay.
Yeah. You definitely can. I think you
Can you get one you would want?
I mean, look who you're talking to here.
Okay, sure.
So that brings up a good point. So before we end this episode, Andrew, after this successful, actually before I ruin it, do we have play us out music for Craig? You don't tell me.
No.
Good. All right, good. Since last recording,
have been offered 4 cars.
I've been offered so many cars as a daily, none of which have airbags.
The Audi can have airbags.
None of which have airbags that I reasonably considered.
Okay.
Our listener Andy said, and our friend Andy just said, "Why don't you get another 9,000?"
4,000.
9,000. Stop 9,000.
Well, I thought about that, and here's why I said no to that. Did he just say that in a group chat?
No, I was talking to him over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
In person.
So I've thought about
Believe it or
not. Yeah, I've thought about that, and the reason I'm not going to get another 9,000 is simply because out here they all have super trashed interiors, and I don't want to drive across the country in a 9,000 again at the moment. Unless one popped up that was like a killer deal like my other one, it's not going to happen. Also, I had made that car so goddamn nice that I don't want to start over again.
Mm-hmm.
And unless one came up that was a killer deal or was a low mile, absolutely stunningly mint car, I don't want another 9,000. I was falling in love with that car and that car specifically, not 9,000s as a rule.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be like, I'm not going to seek one out, but if one falls in my lap, I will buy it. How's that sound? But since last recording, I've been offered all of these daily drivable cars. And my father called me, and when you talk to your parents, their number one concern out of life is usually that you're happy and healthy and safe, right? That's generally the concern from your parents.
Yeah.
So he called me and he said, you just got to get back into a car and not worry about it. So he doesn't care if I die in a fiery car crash on the highway, obviously. So obviously, Dad, I'm kidding because I know you're going to hear this. But he's not wrong. I just need to get in a car and do it. I've been driving for 24 years, and I've never had a massive car wreck like that in my entire life. My office is actually moving to a much more local place in the next couple of months. So I'm not even going to be driving on the interstate every day anymore anyway. So it doesn't even going to matter. Also, on top of all of that, modern new cars are boring and Brad is back. So we're out. There is a list of cars I have been offered now in the past week or so. And one of them is so dumb.
It's very dumb.
And so over the top.
It's really dumb.
And it's owned by a friend of the show who's actually guested on the show. And his wife wants it out of the driveway real bad because they don't even use it anymore.
Oh.
And it has...
I know what this car is.
You know what car this is?
Yeah.
What car is this?
Is it the Rialta? The Regatta?
The Riata. Yes, it's a Buick Riata. So it's the only production car ever to have a CRT touchscreen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. So that'll smash your face instead.
Listen, this is a temporary thing. I think it would, be good for the podcast because it's another ridiculous car. So it'd be a cool car to have around and photograph and make some small improvements to and drive for 6 months or so and then move on to something else. So that's in the running. There's been talk of some German cars that belong to the gentleman sitting next to me that he's like, you could buy that
for cheap,
for not a ton of money.
And they're great cars.
So it would need some suspension work because he messed it all up. But there's a...
maybe 2 to 3 hours of work.
Yes.
Not a lot of work.
There's a certain S6 that's on the table as well. There's some neat stuff out there, and I think I'm going to buy all my friends' cars that I don't know what to do with, drive them for 6 months, and move them on and get them out of our friend circle. How's that sound?
Sure.
Right? So
yeah.
Maybe eventually I'll even get to your Q45. So I think that I think it's been settled. I think the most reasonable suggestion out of anybody was from the current owner of said Riata. He made a strong case for an early Xterra.
Yeah.
Because their 5 speeds are available for sub $6,000. It would scratch my itch for going off road. They have air conditioning and airbags.
Yeah.
And then
Our buddy Dan grabbed an orange one that's a 5-speed. It looks killer in orange.
yeah,
And he was doing sweep with it at the sprint this weekend.
yeah. So I think that in the back of my brain, I think that Xterra is there. And
out there they haven't rotted away.
If I do this right, I'm gonna have a succession of dumb fun cars rolling through the driveway, and maybe just have an Xterra eventually as well. So we'll see what happens.
You could tow with it too if you wanted to.
I honestly I could tow small cars that I'm into on a dolly with it easily.
Yeah.
So and I think actually, doesn't Jordan tow an actual U-Haul trailer with his car on it?
I think he's got a bigger Land Cruiser for that, but
No, Jordan. Jordan's towed the Volkswagen.
Oh yeah, he's got second gen though.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, it's an option. That might be something that we talk about here for a family owned camping rig. So that's on the list as well. But I think in the meantime, there might be something dumb happening. I don't know specifically that will be the Riata. You know, the conversation was over beers, so maybe now that beers have decided, maybe it's not even for sale. I don't even know. He'll have to. I'll have to contact him again later because this was just last night at a restaurant.
If you ask his accountant, it's for sale.
His accountant was willing to give me for $20, but I don't think that sat very well in his brain. And I don't want to buy it for $20 either. I want to pay him a true value of the car. But yeah, so I think it's time just to run through some, for lack of a better word, some dumb shit, and not worry about it.
It's probably the right move.
Yeah. So, and if a 9,000 happens to be one of those cars that's dumb shit, it happens.
I mean, really, now's the time for you to get a motorcycle and commute on that.
I just was okay with not airbags. now you are you colluding with my dad? Is there a life insurance policy I don't know about here? Jesus. But yeah, my dad basically told me to suck it up, Nancy, and just get a car. So he's not wrong, and I think that I just need to do it. I mean, I've done it my entire life. I commuted in the wintertime in an 80 Colt in Boston traffic for years. Like, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
You only live once. Everybody would be sad, but at least they'd know I died happy. Right?
You only got one life.
Right. So, I got nothing left to give. I might as well give the world entertainment through pictures of terrible cars. So, anyway, Andrew, do you have anything else to add to this podcast today, or should we end it on how everybody's trying to kill me?
No, I've got nothing. Okay. I mean,
do you like Riatas?
I don't like any GM stuff from that era.
Oh, what if it's a GM stuff designed by an Italian? Like a Riata.
Maybe.
I really like Riatas. I think they're attractive. I wish that they were the Fiero I thought they were underneath.
Yeah, they're not.
They're front-wheel drive. Yeah. I know that now, but when I was in
Michiganander and you coming out.
Yeah.
Is that a word, Michiganander?
Michigander is what we call ourselves.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good call. Anyway. They had a lot of time to think about it in the wintertime when it was dark by 3.
Yeah. No, when I was in high school, a friend of mine had a Riata, and it was a nice car. I thought it was a Buick Fiero, but it is not. It would have made too much sense for GM at the time,
Yeah.
There's a picture of a slammed one that I'm going to send you, Andrew, and it just makes my life. But anyway, we're off topic. I do got to go back to the conversation we had the other night that ended in the Riata, because I was talking about buying a 924 as a daily. Yeah. So it's funny that you chose one. And that turned into, well, if you want a 924, why don't you do this? If you want this, why don't you do that? So, I don't know. That's where we're at. Life is good. I'm just going to have a succession of terrible cars. And I honestly think that anybody listening probably figured that was going to be the outcome anyway, because that's pretty on brand.
It's very on brand.
Yeah. Why change my brand? Why change now? Why change now? So, I'll be a terrible human forever. Might as well lean into it. So,
yep.
All right, Andrew. What's actually before we do our own? Let's see, Bradley. Where can people find you in the social media world?
Oh boy, I have an Instagram now.
You
I
do.
was off Instagram for a long time. I'm back. It's the same as it used to be. At plugin hi Brad, HYBRAD.
Everybody else named Brad has a way cooler Instagram name involving your name than I do. Between you and Breaking Brad, I don't know who's better.
TSIS350. It's
Brad.
the best.
T's Brad 350.
Yes.
I don't understand.
I am also on Twitter. That's where I spend a lot of my time. Too much of my time, if I'm honest. At BC Brownell over there. You can read my work on jalopnik.com and flat6s.com. And you can go to Autopia 2099 this June in San Francisco and this December in Los Angeles. And Radwood's, at Radwood Official. You guys know where to find Radwood stuff.
I recommend the Autopia show. It's eye-opening. I think I talked about it the weekend after it happened.
Yeah.
It was really neat to see the world of electric cars that I'm unaware of beyond Teslas and Nissan Leafs.
It's fun.
Or, excuse me, apparently the proper pronunciation is Tesla. I didn't realize that.
Tesla.
I'm pronouncing it wrong all this time.
It's whatever you want it to be.
It's Porsche
That's right.
and Tesla. So
yep.
It's not Tesla. But whatever. The rock band is Tesla.
Probably, yeah.
I saw them.
Let's start an EV car company called Edison.
I think there was one. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it failed miserably because it was some kind of scam. But there was an Edison for a little while. Yeah. But anyway, again, there's some historical context
I'll start
there
with
as well.
Marconi.
Just a radio.
Yeah, and I'll advertise that we'll have wireless charging out of the gate.
I'm gonna bring back
the Ralphs, whatever they're called.
Who was the guy that invented the word TV? Muntz, Madman Muntz. I'm gonna bring back Muntz.
Muntz Jet.
As an EV.
Well, I like that you have Marconi, Andrews. I think that my uncle did some lineage once, and there was some obscure connection to my family to Marconi. So
there you go. That's your claim to fame.
So you owe me rights.
Yeah,
just for saying
his name.
People $100 deposit, and like I said, it'll have wireless charging, and that's it.
Yeah,
they'll line right up for you.
It's a wireless charging. This giant parking pad in your driveway.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah,
there was a company that was testing that, I believe, in Germany.
Huh.
And then the story, I don't know if it's an old
puppies
wives'
were
tale.
Getting electrocuted.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an old wives' tale, but they said the cat went under there one night, and it did not end well.
Yeah, there was a company in Boston trying to do it. I haven't heard from them in a while.
Huh. Because you have to be through a contact point, and
induction charging, and
tires are not conductors,
right?
So that wouldn't work,
right?
No, you park over it's like a giant induction charge, for your phone. You have induction charging.
Man, I am deathly afraid of electricity. You couldn't pay me enough money to do that.
Nope. Gets awful hot.
Yeah. Although it would be a good way to melt ice in your driveway. All right, so find me on the internet at Instagram, TSISS350. I'll try to work Brad into that somehow. So TSISS350. Andrew, where can they find you and us?
We are on Facebook, Auto Off Topic Podcast, Auto Off Topic on Instagram. There's an Auto Off Topic Twitter. I don't use it too much. You can find me on Instagram, Race and Anger. I'm on Twitter. I think it's Race and Anger.
Yeah, it is.
Our new Instagram, which is Scale Autocast. The podcast is coming. We're working on it.
Yeah, so our schedule is going to be, we're going to be recording it the first Monday of the month, every month.
Yep.
And we'll see how it goes the first few episodes. And if we wind up doing more, we'll do more. But, we don't want to rob content from our main gig here. So it's going to be exclusively scale car stuff. But the Instagram page is alive and actually starting to thrive pretty well. Between Andrew and I, we certainly have enough inventory to do one picture of a scale car a day for the next 342 years.
We certainly do.
So I think we'll be okay. And for some reason, we keep buying more.
Yeah.
So,
well, as always, keep your cars analog and aim for the roses. See ya.